It's from online shopping to planning for a holiday, but could it also be making it easier to cheat?
There's a new study out, and that study has found a correlation between Facebook use and divorce rates. So is social media to blame for infidelity? And do we need to log off to safeguard our relationships? Sexologist and relationship expert Nikki Goldstein joins us with more on this. Hey, Nikki.
Hi, Nikki.
Can we really blame modern technology for infidelity?
Well, I don't think it's solely to blame, but when you do look at it, it opens us up to a new world. There's more temptation. It's now actually easier to click onto your phone and to cheat on someone from the comfort of your couch. But I think we also need to redefine what infidelity is, because we didn't have the internet 20, 30 years ago, so we weren't looking at what's inappropriate and what's not appropriate behaviours online when you're in a relationship.
Okay, let's look at online relationships. The downsides, I guess there are plenty.
I think there's a lot, but the main one that comes to mind for me is not only when you put your relationship out there online, you're opening it up to interpretation from other people, other people's opinions, but you're also able to see the communication your partner has with someone else. So this might lead to misinterpretation, it might lead to false accusations where you're saying, what was that person doing talking to you? That was inappropriate, that was flirting. And then that puts distrust back into the relationship.
So how has technology changed relationships? You're saying, I guess at the top of the list, it's made it easy to click on. Right?
Well, it's made it easier to meet and cheat with people, but I think it's also changing how we view and what we do around commitment. So instead of having to sit down and have that conversation, oh, we're not dating anybody else, let's call this a monogamous relationship, you now have to cancel your Tinder profile. You have to change your relationship status, and you have to be putting those photos up that show the world, look, this is my partner, with a hashtag of my boy, my girl. And we're seeing this rise of the relfies, which is the relationship selfies, which is projecting to everyone else how we want them to see our relationship. But I'd say be careful of that, because it's not always reality, and it's not always what's really going on behind the computer screen and behind the photo.
How much technology should be allowed in a relationship?
Well, I think it's going to depend from person to person, but I think there's a few things you need to consider.
Yeah.
Is it opening up the relationship to temptation? Are you spending more time talking about your relationship online than actually focusing on
being
it?
in it. Yeah.
Exactly. And are you doing it for validation as well? What's the purpose of taking to Facebook and taking to Twitter to show your relationship? So really you need to be focusing on your own relationship, not what other people think about your relationship online.
Let's talk about relationship etiquette for a tick here. What are the do's and more importantly, probably, what are the don'ts?
Well, I think some of the biggest do's are you need to be as open with your online relationship as you are in your everyday other relationship.
Yeah.
Remove troublemakers from Facebook, people that are going in there and make comments that are nasty. Also, be careful what you put up. Don't be oversharing. And also some of the things you shouldn't do is, don't be too quick to take to Facebook to put your relationship status. And never use that it's complicated. Don't go hacking into your partner's Facebook account and Hotmail.
Oh, come on.
And also be careful about how much snooping you're doing online. I think that snooping around somebody's Facebook profile and social media is just as bad as if you were doing that in everyday life.
Hang on, but if it is their Facebook, it's out there, so therefore shouldn't it be out there for your boyfriend or your girlfriend to see? Like, what should you have to hide?
I think you've got to consider at what level you're going to go crazy with that. So some people are checking into people's Tinder profiles when they're just dating to see when did they last log in. How obsessed are you going to get? And
but I think isn't it funny? If you're in a relationship with someone, they shouldn't be on Tinder, full stop. Like, I don't...
Well, I'm talking about in the context of if you're just started to dating and this isn't what we call a monogamous relationship. But I think if you are in a monogamous relationship and you are looking at what they're saying online, it's fine if you've checked in just to have a look and say hi. But when you're focusing on what everyone else is saying on their Facebook page and
like
comments,
whether Sharon has said something to
yeah, it becomes very
Mike
obsessive, and I think it's a negative headspace.
Good morning to Sharon and Mike. I hope everything's going. We know you've been for a rough patch there, but what are some of the cheat-proof tactics for a modern-day relationship, apart from chuck the phone and the laptop away?
Turn it off. I think one of the things is you need to have the conversation about when the relationship actually is monogamous. You also need to look at things like removing any temptation, discussing what infidelity means, because now that we're looking at different relationships, we may need to have that conversation about what is appropriate, what is inappropriate behaviour, and also talk about anything that you might think that's a bit sus before you actually make those accusations of infidelity.
If a girl sends a guy a sexy picture of unsolicited of her to him, is he cheating?
Is he in a relationship?
Yes?
Okay, well,
What if it
it's
had
not
nothing to
him
do with
cheating, but I think
Oh, I know where you're going
if
with
you
this.
hold on to that photo, if you delete that photo, then I think that would be appropriate behaviour. If you keep on to that photo, then I think that kind of goes into that category of it's not quite caught red-handed cheating, but I don't think it's appropriate
Interesting.
behaviour
Yeah,
for
not
being in a
appropriate
relationship.
at all.
Because that
Not at
Melbourne
all.
story we were doing the other week, right? That was exactly what happened. Okay, Nikki, thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Thank you. What was the Melbourne story?
It was the big story a couple of weeks ago where a woman found pictures on a man's phone that he said were unsolicited, and she accused him of cheating.
Oh, I must have been on holidays.
No, it was a big story. Okay,
I must have been on
Nikki, thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I'm sure our viewers understand what I'm going.